It's interesting to consider how a change like this would ripple through the My Hero Academia storyline. Let's explore what that might look like if Tsuyu Asui, instead of Ochako Uraraka, developed a crush on Izuku Midoriya. Tsuyu's character arc and motivations. Tsuyu's core personality is one of pragmatism and honesty. She's incredibly observant and straightforward, often vocalizing what others might be thinking. A crush on Deku would likely manifest differently than Uraraka's bubbly, flustered reactions. Subtlety. Tsuyu would probably be very subtle about her feelings. She might watch him from a distance, her Kero croak a little softer when she's around him. She would be more likely to offer quiet, practical support rather than an emotional cheer. Logical analysis. She might logically analyze why she's drawn to him, his determination, his selflessness, his growth, and even admit her feelings to herself, but be hesitant to act on them unless she felt it was the right, logical time. Honesty. If she were to confess, it would be in her typical blunt, honest way. Deku, I've noticed I've started to like you. I'm telling you this because it's what's on my mind. Kero. The dynamic between Deku and Tsuyu. The relationship between Deku and Tsuyu would be a very different dynamic from the one he has with Uraraka. Mentorship/support Tsuyu is already a very good team player and an excellent strategist. A crush on Deku would likely enhance this. She would be his logical support system, helping him analyze the situation and providing a level-headed perspective when he's panicking. She wouldn't just cheer him on, she'd help him think. Emotional honesty. Tsuyu's directness would likely force Deku to confront his own feelings and struggles in a way that Uraraka's more emotional support doesn't always do. If Deku was being reckless, Tsuyu would probably call him out on it, albeit gently, because she'd be concerned for his well-being. Less fluster, more respect. Deku's reactions would likely be less about being flustered and more about being grateful and respectful. He'd see Tsuyu as a trusted teammate and friend, and her feelings would add a layer of personal connection to that foundation. He'd probably be a bit confused at first, as he's not used to such direct emotional communication. Key storyline changes. Let's look at how this could change some major plot points. The Uraraka-Deku subplot. The romantic tension that fuels Uraraka's character arc. Her initial desire to be a hero for money to help her family, which then gets intertwined with her feelings for Deku, would be gone. Uraraka would still be a great friend to Deku, but her character would need a different internal struggle to drive her forward. Perhaps she'd focus more purely on her goal of helping her family, or a new motivation would be introduced. The Forest Training Arc. In the original story, Uraraka's feelings become a significant factor when she and Deku are in the forest, and she's trying to process her emotions. In this new version, Tsuyu's quiet observations might be more prominent. Perhaps during the attack she'd offer a quick, logical piece of advice to Deku that no one else would think of. The Joint Training Arc. Uraraka's rescue of Deku from his out-of-control quirk is a huge moment for their relationship. With Tsuyu, this would be a different scene. Tsuyu might use her tongue in a more strategic, less romantic way to help him, perhaps rapping him to contain his power, all while calmly telling him to regain control. It would be a moment of trust and teamwork, less so of raw emotional connection. A love triangle with Bakugo? In the original story, there's a subtle undertone where Bakugo's rivalry with Deku is heightened by his perception of Deku's success, which includes his popularity. Uraraka's crush on Deku is a part of that. With Tsuyu, Bakugo's reaction might be less about a rival getting the girl, and more a grudging acknowledgement of Deku's ability to forge genuine, deep connections with his classmates, a skill Bakugo lacks. The broader impact. Overall, a Tsuyu-Deku romance would shift the emotional tone of the series in a few key ways. Maturity. The relationship would feel more mature and grounded. Tsuyu's pragmatic nature would contrast with Deku's emotional intensity, creating a balanced and realistic dynamic. Focus on teamwork. The romance would be more integrated with the theme of teamwork and heroics, as Tsuyu's feelings would likely be tied to her respect for Deku's abilities as a hero, and their bond would be forged in battle and strategy. Less overt fluff. The show would lose some of the lighthearted romantic comedy moments that Uraraka's crush provides. The romantic tension would be more subtle, relying on quiet looks and shared moments of understanding. In conclusion, a Tsuyu-Deku romance would be a more grounded, logical, and mature storyline. It would change the dynamics of Class 1A and force the creators to find new ways to develop Uraraka's character. The series would lose some of its more traditional shonen romance tropes, but it would gain a unique and compelling dynamic centered on respect, honesty, and teamwork.